we're very happy to welcome His Excellency Gaston Barban. He's going to be announcing officially the initiative we're calling as the Ames Industry Initiative. Actually, it's an initiative that we designed to address three main goals in addition to what we've been achieving for the past 10 years. Number one is to try to link the Ames graduates to the private sector. And number two, what we want to do is to tackle head-on the main challenges facing the private sector industry in recruiting top talents across the continent, not just in South Africa, but across the 54 countries in Africa. And number three is to try and develop some kind of corporate sponsorship for sustained internship program, which may give opportunities to you guys to go and explore what is out there in the private sector. So these are the three main goals of the Ames Industry Initiative, which His Excellency will be, number one, officially announcing, and second, maybe interacting with you, take a few questions, and then also ask you a number of questions to know more about you, what you're doing here, if you're happy, if you're not happy. So, so on that, I would like to invite His Excellency Gaston Barban. Thanks for coming, and our students are here to listen.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, as we say in our country. I'm truly pleased to be here. You may not know this, but I'm very new as a High Commissioner of Canada. And in fact, it was only last Tuesday that I presented my credentials to His Excellency Jacob Zuma, the President of the Republic of South Africa. So I'm less than a week old as a High Commissioner, but I've come to Cape Town for an event in the city on mining in Daba, and I'm delighted that my first trip outside of Cape Town is to this lovely spot here and to visit the African Institute of Mathematical Science. We arrived a bit early, and so we asked the driver to go to the beach so we could look out and onto the water. And it must be, it's a very tempting place to spend your time, a very salutary experience, to smell the salt air and see the waves roll in. But I was also joking whether or not you studied wave dynamics and wave theory here as part of your courses. But look, it's, I know you're in a very special place here at the Ames Institute, and I wanted to talk to you just a little bit about how Canada is so delighted to be part of this initiative, and there are many Canadian connections with Ames that I'd like to tell you about. But first of all, I want to tell you that Canada has a strong interest in Africa's progress and its promise. And its promise is not just in the natural wealth that it has under the ground and on the land, but the greatest promise is in the people that are on this continent and the young people that are here. And we're committed to helping African countries develop that talent, especially in the fields of educational development and science and technology. So it was with great delight that we've supported the Ames initiative. And as some of you may know, in 2010, our Prime Minister, Stephen Harper, actually pledged money for the Ames initiative, but specifically for the Ames Next Einstein initiative, which sees this Pan-African approach to creating centers, Ames centers in other countries. And you know, there are two others, one in Senegal, and I'm delighted to have met some of the Senegalese colleagues that are here from Senegal, and the newest one the one in Ghana as well. So we've got something going here, something that's going to roll across the continent, and all these little centers of learning and specialized learning that's going to happen. So that's a wonderful thing. But I'm here, has been mentioned several times, to announce the Ames Industry Initiative, which is a work placement program. So working with private corporations, it's an opportunity to find internships for students, for graduates from Ames. And that's a very special thing, especially in the area of theoretical studies like mathematics that many people might think has no practical application. However, I know you know and I know that it has plenty of application, because human genius is all in the mind, and you are really occupied with a human mind and many theoretical concepts that you can apply. And the challenge is how to move you from the theoretical into the practical and truly into the working world, because you can contribute to your countries, to this continent, by working in the private sector and all kinds of human activity and human industry. So this is a wonderful initiative. I'm here with two representatives, one from McCain Foods and the other one from CAE Mining. We anticipate they're going to be looking at this particular program and seeing whether there's a possibility to select graduates to have them placed in this new Ames industry initiative. Now, I said that there were plenty of connections between Canada and Ames. Well, one is you're the founder of this particular institute, Neil Tourock, as you may know, is the head of the Perimeter Institute for Theoretical Physics in Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. So he's there, and there's one connection between Canada and South Africa and this particular institute. I've met several people here that are Canadians and that are graduates. They have an alumnus here from the University of Waterloo. Another Canadian connection is, of course, the Stephen Harper pledge of $20 million over 5 years for the next Einstein initiative. So that's a Canadian connection. And then there's this whole concept of work placement. And having an opportunity to spend your years in education, but have time to actually go and work with a company or with a government agency to see whether or not you really want to work in that field, okay? And also for the company to see whether or not they really want someone like you working for them. So this kind of work placement, I can't say we invented it in Canada, but the University of Waterloo, in Waterloo, where the Perimeter Institute, where Niels Tourock is, where some of your colleagues are from, actually started something called a cooperative program about a quarter of a century ago, finding in partnership first with local companies in the Waterloo area, but slowly expanding, finding work placement programs for students, not necessarily at the end of their studies, but actually at the end of every year. They went out and they found work for these students. And what a wonderful way to begin to apply what you're learning and to begin to think about whether or not you really want to do that kind of work. I wish I had had that opportunity when I was young. I had to go right to the end and then see whether or not I could start to work right away. But many of the young people in Canada, because the University of Waterloo's cooperative program is being copied by other educational institutions, and now it's become the thing to do. If you're a young person, you want to go to university, you don't want to go to university for 4 or 5 years and then come out and just have that shiny piece of paper with no work experience behind you. You want to come out with your piece of paper plus 2 or 3 placements during the course of your time. Maybe it would have taken you a year more to get the education, but you've had all this work experience. So you don't go to the employer and say, hello, I'd like to work for you, and they'll say, what have you got? I've got this degree. Yes, what else have you got? Well, I pump petrol at the gas station, or I worked at McDonald's. No, so this is an opportunity to get experience in the field that you want. And you can decide after working with them whether you really want to work in that kind of industry or whether you want to work in some other industry. So it's a win-win for both sides. So I'm a big promoter, big believer in work placement, big believer in the institutions and the corporate sector working together to get the best talent, which is good for them and good for the individual who will be having the internship. I think I'll stop there, and I will entertain some questions. I have some questions about, I'd like to know how many people are studying financial modeling, for example. How many people are looking at financial modeling? No, huh? Biotechnology or the biosciences. Okay. How about applications to information technology, computing science, applications for that? Interesting, okay. And how many of you are interested in a career in academia? You want to be professors? Keep on studying. No. And how many would like to work in industry? Corporations? Yeah. How about for governments or non-governmental organizations? The public sector? That's very good. Right across the board. That's interesting. So, any questions for me? Who will be the brave soul to ask the first question? As long as it's not a theoretical question, okay? How many people surf here? At least one. How can't you? Okay, look, I'm not going to put you on the spot anymore. I just wanted to say again how delighted I am to be here with you. And I think we're going off later, and we'll have a chance to mingle, so you won't have to ask questions in front of everyone like this, and we'll have a chance to have individual time if you have some questions. You have a commitment from me as the High Commissioner of Canada to work with Ames. We have a special relationship with this institution, and we want to see it grow across Africa. And we want to see whether the University of Waterloo's cooperative education program with industry and business can be applied here to great success as it has been in Canada. So thank you very much again for your time.